Ah, well, here we are. And all is quiet. Hi Vicky! Hi Hugh! Dear oh dear, turn off your mind, relax and float in the bath, which is what I've just been doing. Good evening guys, hi! I'm just sitting here reading a book about thorough bass and looking up at the screen because I've now got a monitor that sits above the laptop and I keep forgetting that the camera is below what shows on the screen. So forgive me for keeping on looking upwards. I'm desperately staring downwards at the moment. It's very uncomfortable because I'm aware that there's something in the periphery of my vision moving away up there. And I keep wanting to look at it. Anyway, yes, thorough bass. I'll talk about that a bit later on. It's very interesting. It's basically the 17th, 18th century equivalent of guitar tabs, or perhaps jazz transcriptions where you're just given the melody and some chords to play along with it. It's Bank Holiday Monday. I'm really surprised to see anybody here at all. I was half expecting to spend an hour talking away to myself. Nothing unusual about that. Just an hour talking away to myself broadcasting instead of wandering around the kitchen mumbling about all sorts. Right, well, since you're here, and I'm sure you don't really want to hear me talking too much about thorough bass and so on, I'll give a first airing to the first piece for the day, which is, in the tradition that I've been setting up all the way through doing these things, it's a TV theme. We always start with a TV theme, except the week that we started with The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, which was a film theme. Otherwise, TV themes are it. And this one, you'll work out the theme as you go along. Some of you, actually both of you, may well remember this. Do tell me if you do, and do tell me if you don't as well. Let me just find my folder. Yep, here we go. Completely missed the last note there. I'll just do that without the track in the background. Not missing it completely again. That's it. That's how it was supposed to have ended. Anybody recognise it? Anybody there? Let me just uncover the screen so I can see you. Hi, Pete's here. It sounds familiar. Vicky reckons it sounds familiar. Ricky, could you... Roddy Gilliard wants more Freddie and the Dreamers in a Rubber Dub style. Well, we can do Freddie and the Dreamers later on. Hi guys, anyway, that was, for those who didn't recognise it, that was the theme tune from ITV's holiday programme, Wish You Were Here. You get another song called Wish You Were Here that has nothing to do with Pink Floyd at all. And it was the theme tune for nearly 30 years, apparently. It was written by Gordon Giltrap, and here's your first bit of trivia for the night. The BBC ran their long-running holiday programme at the same time as the ITV were running Wish You Were Here. And between 1978 and 1985, the theme tune for the BBC was also written by Gordon Giltrap, who must have been coining it in around that time. Despite which, I did see him at Glastonbury in 1981, and that's your next bit of trivia for the day. There was something else to follow that, but oh yes, yeah. I will not make any reference to politics as we're going along because I don't tend to. That's not what this is about. But interesting to note that both the BBC and ITV started long-running television programmes about foreign holidays at the precise point when we joined the European Union, or what was then the Common Market. All I would say is book early for Bognor Regis next year, chaps. Emily, hi. You missed the exciting. Yes. See, Vicky knows what it is now. I've told her. You've just missed the intro theme tune, Emily. So I'll do it again. Anything to fill time. Play song twice. Those of you who've already heard it, go and make a cup of coffee or something. Yes, no to politics today, Vicky. I quite agree. We're not talking about politics. This is about holidays. That's going to be the ongoing theme throughout the night, except when I get on to banks. But I'm not necessarily dealing with the kind of bank that takes your money away from you. Oops! Getting political there again. Right, let's hit up that hit the theme tune up again. Where are we? Yes. Let's go. Cool. Second time is always better than the first time, except when I actually know the piece and have practiced it properly, which in this case, obviously, I haven't done. Oh well. Right, well, how are we doing? Yes, good evening, Emily. Vicky says no to politics. She saw Giltrap at Bracknell in the mid-80s. He was great. Actually, he was really good. It was one of the few things that I remember from that Glastonbury set, being slightly drugged for most of the time. Emily, brilliant, thank you very much. That, for those who don't know it, that instrument, by the way, was what I call the Dewberry. It's a fake Renaissance wind cap pipe. Fake in the sense that it didn't actually exist. At least I don't think it existed. The people at the early music shop who built it say that they got the design out of Michael Pretorius's book, Syntagma Musicum, about instruments and music in the Renaissance era. But I've looked through Syntagma Musicum. I can't find any reference to this or a drawing of it at all. So to be honest, I think they made it up. But it sounds jolly nice, and I like it. And it was picked for that particular theme tune because, like most instruments of that period, it only has an octave register, just over 8 notes, 9 notes. And there is a reason for that as well, which we'll get around to in a minute. But obviously you've got to find a tune that doesn't have more than 9 notes. And that was the one. That was the one. So, there we go. The theme from Wish You Were Here, the ITV's, why do I keep saying the ITV? ITV's holiday programme. Moving on. No, I didn't do the Antiques Roadshow. Well, I can present myself and ask if I have any valuables. Oddly enough, I do have an antique to talk about, and I will do that again. Something else I'm going to get around to in a bit. In the meantime, though, that business about the Dubarry only having 9 notes, like most wind instruments of the Renaissance period. And the reason for that is the Pythagorean stricture. Pythagoras, is it a similar design, Pete? It's a similar design to the crumhorn. Yes, it's the same principle. It's got a cap at the top, and removing it carefully, a reed inside it. So you blow through the top of the cap. It looks as if you're blowing through your nose, but you're not. And it picks up the reed, forces the reed to vibrate, and you can pitch it with the finger holes, but mostly by how hard you blow, which is the difficulty with this kind of thing. So, only 1 octave. Pythagoras. The ancients reckoned that Pythagoras, apart from various mathematical theorems that I know nothing about. Hi, Caroline! Pythagoras invented music, basically, or Pythagoras was the first person who came up with the idea that if you took a piece of string, stretched it out, I seem to have gone up, there we are, right. If you took a piece of string, stretched it out and plucked it in the middle, it sounded a note. If you put an object down halfway along the piece of string and plucked on one side, you'd hear the same note at a higher pitch. And this is what defines the octave. And Pythagoras claimed that you had those 7 notes, 8 notes at maximum. You didn't need any more notes than that, which is why I think so many wind instruments basically had a very limited range. Now I found a lovely bit of prose about this when I was digging into this matter, which I will proceed to dig out and do a brief reading. For those of you who've had lots of readings from me, don't worry, it will actually be a brief reading this time. And not poetry. This is a bit of prose from 1586, written by a Puritan pamphleteer. Now the Puritans, towards the end of the 16th century, were already beginning to talk about all kinds of decadent, terrible things that needed to be got rid of, including music. And here, from the pamphlet called School of Abuse, published in not 1586 but 1579 by Stephen Gosson, and he wrote, Homer with his music cured the sick soldiers in the Grecian camp and purged every man's tent of the plague. Think you that those miracles could be wrought with playing of dances, pavans, galliards, measures, fancies, or new strain? They never came where this grew, nor knew what it meant. The Argives appointed by their laws great punishments for such as placed above 7 strings upon any instrument. Pythagoras commanded that no musician should go beyond his octave. Were the Argives and Pythagoras now alive, and saw how many strings, how many stops, how many keys, how many clefs, How many moods, flats, sharps, rules, spaces, notes and rests, how many quirks and corners, what chopping and changing, what tossing and turning, what resting and ringing is among our musicians, I verily believe that they would cry out with the countryman, alas, here is fat feeding and lean beasts. Or, as one said at the shearing of hogs, great cry and little wool, much ado and small help. Another writer, Philip Stubbs, in his Anatomy of Abuses, it's all terribly abusive, talks about music as well. He doesn't like music at all. He says, a certain kind of smooth sweetness in it. It is like unto honey, alluring the auditory to effeminacy, pusillanimity, and loathsomeness of life. And writers' good edges are not sharpened but obtused by being whetted upon soft stones, so good wits, by hearing of soft music, are rather dulled than sharpened, and made apt to all wantonness and sin. Music is used in public assemblies and private conventicles as a directory to filthy dancing, and through the sweet harmony and smooth melody thereof it estrangeth the mind, stirreth up lust, womanisheth the mind, and ravisheth the heart. I think all good minstrels, sober and chaste musicians, I mean such as range the country, rhyming and singing songs in taverns, alehouses, inns, and other public assemblies, may dance the wild morris through a needle's eye. There is no ship so balanced with massive matter as their heads are fraught with all kinds of lascivious songs, filthy ballads, and scurvy rhymes, serving for every purpose and every company. Now, quite surprising there to find what's basically a recommendation for people who play music in pubs, yeah, there you go. He seems to think that they're good minstrels and sober and chaste. I'm not so sure about that myself, having played in many a pub in my time. But isn't that wonderful prose? I love it. It's the sound of English being written as a new language. 50 years earlier, they simply did not have the vocabulary to be able to write like that. It's all new, it's all exciting, and they're busy having all kinds of fun with it. Great stuff, great stuff. So, where are we? I've lost track of you completely. Terry's here. BB, you're here. Hey. Well done turning up. Is it not a bank holiday in Germany? And yep, Caroline and Hugh have got a conversation going. Excellent. Right, where are we? I haven't had a drink yet. Today's drinking receptacle is rather conservative, actually. It's quite nice. Not coming out very well on the screen as far as I can see. It's coming out rather blue, but it's actually a very dark green. And then it's, despite the fact that clearly with the holder it's designed for hot liquids, I'm actually just drinking Diet Cola as usual. I'd rather it was hot tea. If I'd thought about it in advance, I could actually have put hot tea in this and it would have stayed warm. Maybe next time, or maybe I'll have another thing next time. And sorry again, I am looking up all the time because the camera used to be positioned above the screen. The camera is now positioned below the new monitor that I have. So it's a real force, it's a real effort to actually look directly into the camera when I can see this sort of figure with a hat moving somewhere in the periphery of my rather blurred vision. Jason's here. Good day, Jason. Hope all's well. No bank holiday in Germany. Oh dear. So you've been working all day and working tomorrow. It's the last holiday of the year here, apart from Christmas. So people are, I suppose, out and about a lot. I know a lot of people have said they're not going to make it tonight, but that's okay, because I always put this up on YouTube anyway. Ooh, another sip. Right, what else have I got? Okay, carrying on with the holiday theme, let's play another piece of music here. And this is one that Some of you may know, but probably not. It was a hit single in America in 1967, but it never got released in England as a single, so it remains kind of a fairly obscure album track. But we'll play it anyway. It's by Ricky's all-time favourite band, although it's not in the disco format that he loves so much. It's by the Bee Gees, and it's called Holiday. Nice ending. And that was the Bee Gees. Hang on. I've got BB telling me I should have tea without milk. This is a reference to a little Facebook exchange that happened yesterday in which I said, why are you drinking tea without milk? And I think the answer boiled down to the fact that she's German and I'm English, and we're English. We drink tea with milk. Isn't that right, fellas? Come on, support me here. I need the help. Caroline, heard of a Welsh band called Cromlech? No, I've heard of Cromlechs as kind of like basically Standing Stones, but they play cromhorns. Lucky them. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to get a cromhorn these days. No one makes them. No one has actually made them since, as far as I'm aware, 2008. If you see a second-hand cromhorn on the market, you jump right in there and try and get hold of it. I very nearly managed to get hold of a tenor cromhorn a few weeks ago, but got in there, pipped to the post. Somebody had phoned straight in and ordered it sight unseen. One day. But meanwhile, I've got the Dewberry, and I've got Malcolm, who isn't here tonight. He's busy working, but he's working on a bank holiday. But yes, he's busy working, and he's got this mad plan to try and build a cromhorn, which could get very interesting. So we need to have a talk about that and see if we can make it. Hugh, Great tune. Yes, the early Beatles albums are wonderful, aren't they? I use the word wonderful on these streams too much, and for some reason I don't use it any other time. Oh, lots of nice words from people. Vicky, you have recorders. Well, no, Vicky, I've been playing them for, what am I? I'm 65. I've been playing recorders for damn nearly 60. Oops, sorry, swearing. I've been playing recorders for nearly 60 years now. So just keep at it. You'll get there. You'll be all right. Jason, there we are. That's it. Vicky, Jason, tea with milk, definitely. Yep, tea. Pete thinks of gin. Okay, well, I could have guessed that one. Hurdy-gurdy videos. Yes. Yeah, no, I'd love to get a hurdy-gurdy. I'd love to get a hurdy-gurdy. I know someone who does have a hurdy-gurdy. He's a professor of music at Liverpool University, but he does have a hurdy-gurdy and a bass crumhorn. Curse him. Yes, amazed at the idea of hurdy-gurdy videos. That's fantastic. That they've actually got things like hurdy-gurdy videos. Splendid. Right, so Cromlech, around the 1980s, around the Swansea Valleys. Right, no, it doesn't mean anything to me at all, Caroline. I shall look them up. Did they make any recordings? And Caroline's got a G&T. Lucky people sitting there with drinks. I have to be easy with G&T these days. I can do one and that's about it. So for these, I stay sober. Cheers. All my best to everybody. In Diet Coke. Now, Antiques Roadshow. Emily suggested doing an Antiques Roadshow on one of these. I did actually buy an antique a couple of weeks ago. I went on eBay. I can't show it to you because it's carefully boarded up at the moment, prior to being put in a very decent piece of museum quality framing. I was looking around eBay for various things, and I found I looked at William Hogarth. I don't know if anyone knows who William Hogarth is, one of the great British artists and engravers of the mid-18th century. Mostly famous for things like The Rake's Progress, which is a sequence of 6 pictures depicting the fall of a young heir through various stages of debauchery and degradation until he ends up in the madhouse. Very moral stuff, although Hogarth wasn't necessarily always a moralist. He was more a satirist than a moralist. But I'm very, very fond of his work. I've even written a couple of articles about him in the past. And I keep an eye out on eBay occasionally, and I found this print, and I looked at it, and I looked at the photographs, which weren't very good, and there weren't very many of them. In fact, the seller seemed to be more interested in a piece of pencil scribble on the side of the backing board. Looking at the seller's other items, he was clearly a dealer in antique furniture and decorations and so on. I'm guessing that they bought this print in a frame and fancied the frame, took the print out, and then had a look around on Wikipedia and realised, and eBay as well, and realised that they might be able to sell it for a reasonable amount of money. So they put it up at the kind of price that a single Hogarth print is generally found at on eBay. However, what you see on eBay these days is the printings that were taken from Hogarth's plates the last time they were used in 1822 for a complete publication of his work. After that, as is the nature of copper printing, I've got a message here from Vicky, I'll just get that in a moment. In the nature of copper plate printing, the copper wears out. It's a soft metal. The paper is pounded into it in the printing process, and the plates get damaged and have to be re-engraved. And beyond a certain point, you can't do that. So the last time it was done was in 1822, re-engraved by the royal engraver of the time, who did a good job. But every time a different hand re-engraves, the plate changes. Weights change, shapes change slightly. It's not quite the same as the original. And those copies of those plates are freely available easily, and they're going on eBay at a particular price. I looked at this and I thought, right, I'm taking a gamble on it, and I put in a bid, and nobody else was interested. Apparently, I won it at the seller's opening bid price. It came along. I opened the packet with trembling fingers, and yes, unless it's an incredibly good fake, it's actually a first printing of a Hogarth print from 1750, December 1750, when Hogarth run off 600 copies and sold them all, and donated the original painting that he'd worked from to the Foundling Hospital. 10 years later, he went in and re-engraved the print, changing it slightly, and there seem to have been more copies of that run off, and that is rather easier to get than the one that I have, which is a remarkable thing. I've dug around. I have this print sitting downstairs waiting to be framed. It really didn't cost me very much in the scheme of things at all. Only a couple of £100, which is, I mean, for an original Hogarth print, it's worth a lot more than that. And it is an original. And looking around, the British Museum doesn't have one. The Tate doesn't have one. The Royal Academy doesn't have one. The National Galleries of Scotland do have one, but it's in very tatty condition compared with this, which is faded, but otherwise in extremely good condition. So, that'll be my first antiques workshops that'll be my first bit of antique workshops, and maybe I'll work up something better with other kind of things like this. If you can see what this is. But I'll save that and we'll do an antique workshop thing later on. Always keen to pick up on an idea that someone else gives me. Thanks, Emily. So, where are we? Okay, people are handing me hurdy-gurdy stuff. Baran, if you're looking for a Baran beta, if you tried Hobgoblin, Caroline. Failing that, check with Pete, because Pete's actually a man with a Baran. All Hughes best from Norfolk. Hooray! There you go. Right, alright, excellent. You've already got that dialogue going, fine. And Vicky has sent me a message with a link to somebody who does hurdy-gurdies and metal covers. Okay, wow, I'll save that up till later and have a look. I've now reached the stage in the proceedings, as seems to happen every week now with Facebook, where the picture has gone completely and all I've got in front of me is a dark screen with the words, "Sorry, we're having trouble with playing this video," written across it. I suspect that in fact Facebook simply isn't geared up for you to do a live video that lasts longer than half an hour. So after 30 minutes it's just packed up and said, right, okay, can't be bothered. So, in a sense, that's good, because I now don't have to look at the picture. I can look at the camera instead. And play some more music, because time's getting on. Yes, Caroline knows of Hobgoblin. They've got various. I'm not sure what would be the nearest Hobgoblin to you in Kent, Caroline. It's a very good one in Brighton. I've been in the one in Brighton. It's right up by the railway station. The staff in there seem to know what they're doing. They're very friendly and laughable. Pete can still see me. Yes, that's bad luck. I'm sorry about that. Facebook's not efficient. I can't see me, but you can see me, and I can't see you. I can't see anything except a blank screen in front of me. So yeah, okay, let's carry on. Yep, yes, I'm sure. Yeah, it's still telling me, sorry, we're having trouble with playing this video. It's even shrunk down to small size now. Right, okay, another piece of music. Kelvin hasn't turned up, has he? Has Kelvin turned up? Because Kelvin put in a request, which led to something else entirely. But well, we'll work our way into that. Kelvin's request, which was for some Quo. So I've dug into the Quo selection with a view to using the wrong instruments entirely. And although I don't have Quo's own version of this, I do have a backing track for wherever I can find it. Yes, the Steel Eye Span original version of All Around My Hat, later covered by Quo, who played it exactly the same as Steel Eye Span had, because Steel Eye Span had played it as if it was by Quo. So, okay, here we go. Start with a bit of singing. Tuning note. All around my hat I will wear the green willow, and all around my hat for a 12-month and a day. And if anyone should ask me the reason why I'm wearing it, it's all for my true love, who's far, far away. Around my hat I will wear the green willow, and all around my hat for a 12-month and a day. And if anyone should ask me the reason why I'm wearing it, it's all for my true love, who's far, far away. My Hat by celebrated British folk rock band Steel Eye Span, who in their early years were famous for being so loud that they actually scared off a few of the bands who they were playing support to. I believe they got criticised by the Stones in 1969 or 1970 for playing their support set far too loud for that kind of music. Is that a boo from Terry? Well, Yeah, sorry, Terry, I just didn't have the Quo version of it. But it's very, very close. Right, okay. What a time. Yes, tune. Yes, right, okay, marvellous. All round Mike Batt. I will wear a green womble suit. Ah, yes, finger in the ear folk. Yes. I didn't know Mike Batt produced that one. Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull produced Now We Are Six, which is why Now We Are Six sounds quite remarkably like a Jethro Tull album. And presumably why Jethro Tull ended up playing folk music a couple of years later. It all kind of makes sense when you add it up. I'll carry on with this because it's a bit of a theme here, and Terry will be probably lots more happy if I get around to this. What Kelvin actually requested was some Quo on the Crumhorn. And I'm not going to get around to that right yet. We'll build up to it with some Quo on the Dewberry. And we're actually getting into Quo territory now with a proper Quo song. Where have I put it? Yes, here it is. Right. Let me just check the... Okay. Right, here we go. This is, by the way, according to the file name, this is by a band called Staus Quo. S-T-A-U-S. It's an extraordinary sound going on outside. Just hang on a moment while I see what it is. Right, I have no idea what that is. There's something very loud and rumbling going on at the back of the house. Maybe the entire neighbourhood's falling down, I don't know. Anyway, carrying on, here is a song by Staus Quo. With an intro and a 10-second gap, because it's a karaoke track. Here we go! Oh, right, okay. Fade out. And there we go. Status quo, apparently, with a paper plane, of course. I hope that cheers you up a bit, Terry. Yes, Terry's got a thumbs up for that one. Nice, right, okay. Sounds like a very angry kazoo. Well, I suppose, yeah, in a way. I suppose, yeah. Well, you can actually get notes out of it, obviously. Watching out for those goblins, Jason and I always do. There could well be... the noise has stopped. So, yes, the goblin mining could possibly have finished. And the whole house might fall sideways into a pit at any moment. Who knows? So, carrying on that thread. As I say, what Kelvin actually requested was Quo on the Crumhorn. And who am I? Who am I to say no? So, coming up on the mighty Crumhorn, we have an earlier number, not actually by Status Quo or even Status Quo, ladies and gentlemen. This one is, technically speaking, if I can find it, by... Yep, I've got it. Okay. It's by The Status Quo. And here we go. Whoops. Clicked on the wrong file. Just a moment. Okay, back to the file. Right, there we go. And here we go. With the usual 10-second gap, I think. Yep, looks like it. Oops. Try that again. would fade out, but you can only play this at one volume. A slightly mellower Angry Wasp, says Jason. Actually, to my ears, this sounds louder and harsher than the Dewberry, but that's probably my ears. Right, where are we again? No, it was Rain. No, Sweet Caroline. No. It was Pictures of Matchstick Men. Sorry about that, chaps. It does actually look like an umbrella handle, or other people have been known to say it looks like a shinty stick. If you know what a shinty stick is. I'd love to have a full-size one. This is the Baby Soprano one, but yeah, that's the umbrella and that's the handle. Don't think it quite works really. Let's get that hat back on. Hey ho! Gosh, time is moving on swiftly, and there's all kinds of things I haven't talked about yet. I was going to talk a bit about thorough bass, which is essentially the system that was used in the prior to the 18th century, the late 18th century, to write an accompaniment for a tune. If you didn't want to write out the chords, what you did was you wrote out the bass line and you wrote a set of numbers above the bass notes, which indicated to the player what the chord was intended to be and indeed roughly how the chord was intended to be voiced. An interesting system in that it left a certain amount of latitude and decision making up to the musician. Later, by the end of the 18th century, that had been taken away. Musicians are playing what composers write out for them. Yeah, Larry is indeed rolling in his grave. I could do Brian and Michael. That was a request. Caroline's making a request. Sweet Caroline. Right, okay. Well, I'll get round to that in a moment. I'm actually going to play some Irish melodies, which I found. Oh, no, I'm not. 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 Carrying on with the theme of banks that go with holidays and make bank holidays. It's a bit desperate, but it's the best I could come up with, considering that my mind was completely blank 24 hours ago about what I was going to do. So let's try this. An old tune which I remember singing a lot in school. We used to do folk song sessions a lot when I was in school, and this was one of those that turned up on a regular basis. Right. Okay. there you are, on the bonny banks of Loch Lomond. Really was pushing it a bit, that one. And we're coming along. Caroline wants Sweet Caroline, so let me just see if I can find that. I should have a copy of it somewhere in the files. Bear with me while I do a lot of clicking with the mouse and look for the Status Quo folder. Okay, right, let's give this a go then. I don't know what I'm going to play it on. What am I going to play it on? Let's try the Descant recorder, but if not, I'll switch to the treble recorder in the middle of it. No worries. Right, okay. 3 quote numbers in one stream. Here we go. In a few seconds. There you go, completely unrehearsed. I normally play that with Kelvin and he plays the tune and I kind of like play it slowly in a sort of jazz tenor saxophone version around him. So Can't remember when I last played the tune for that. Obviously quite a while ago because I'm fiddling around with it all over the place. And what an odd key it's in as well. Anyway, there you go. Hope that wasn't too monstrous for you, Caroline. What else have we got here? Virtual stomping going on as we speak. Yeah, absolutely, Terry. Where's Kelvin? He steps in here. He makes a request. He totally takes over this entire stream by getting me to play two Quo numbers and a number that Quo covered, and Caroline adds in another Quo number. It's all gone Quo. We're keeping the status going. And Kelvin, no sign. Where is he? He'll just have to watch it on YouTube, and it will be there on YouTube later on. And in the meantime, we've actually reached 9 o'clock, and I've still got lots and lots and lots of things to play. So let's play some of them. Incredible how time passes, really. Right, where are we? Don't want libraries, I want that file. Yeah, an obvious song. This had to be in. No way this could be kept out, really. Not talking over the gap this time. Somehow I feel more fulfilled for actually having played that, since it was probably the first song that I came up with for this purpose. There's lots more. There's lots more. Do you want more music? Do you want? I can carry on with this. We're now at the crucial 9:05 time, when it's probably time for people to be going off. And Caroline's saying thank you, and Pete's saying thank you, and he's got to get off. Emily's going. Everyone's rocking out. I'm carrying on. See you all later. If you want to see what happens after this, it'll all be up on YouTube later on tonight. In fact, it'll be on Facebook for a couple of days. Thank you to everyone for being here. Thank you to everyone who's not gone away yet. If you have, then that's okay. I'll carry on playing for myself for a bit. I found a book of Celtic folk tunes, arranged for recorder. I was looking for something else, yes Pete, I was looking for Midnight Walker, but it wasn't in there. However, I found this, and it's got some very pleasant tunes in it, so keeping up with the Banks theme again, here is an attempt to play unaccompanied through the tune On Loch Ness Banks. try that again and try not to slip from one key to another in the middle of it. I'll do it with a bit of ornamentation this time. On Lochnays Banks. Filing quickly down. What else have we got? Let's try this. And that was Galway. And to finish off, a little trilogy here. Try that again. Really? No, it's gone completely. I've blown too wetly. I tend to blow too wet. Probably due to lacking in teeth, really. I'm a good person to be wearing a mask around. In fact, I should be wearing a mask all the time myself, but that's clearly I've pushed that on slightly too far, and it's not going to make it. Let's see if I can get the last of the tune out. Right, sorry about that. Problems with spit and blowing and all kinds of things. It's a very, very insanitary instrument in some kind of ways. Although all the spit stays inside, I'll be the one who'll be drying it out a bit later on. Righty ho. Well, it's now 11 minutes past 9. Anyone still here? Terry's still here. Hugh wants more music. BB is saying, thank you, FB. Thank you, BB. Thank you for being here all this time. Wow, well done. You've been sitting here quietly, putting up with all this waffle and strange music and so on. you would actually have, on previous weeks, you would actually have been able to hear the obligatory Frank Zappa number, but this week, that's what's missing. Not that I forgot about it, it's just that I couldn't, in a short space of time, find anything that I hadn't already played that I could play relatively easily. So, no Frank Zappa. Maybe next time. That'll be in a fortnight, or a fortnight after that. I'll get something. I'll get something. Come along and we'll have a bit of a Frank Zappa session. But for now, well, another obligatory thing that happens is the disco number. So, I found this backing track. Just take my hat off so I can get this thing around my neck. There we are. Yeah, it's the Stormtrooper, ladies and gentlemen. All rocking and ready to go. With some very high-pitched playing, and this will be the last one for the night, I think. I found this backing track for Can't Help Falling in Love with You. And at first I thought it was a backing track for Andy Williams' kind of up-tempo version of it that was a hit around 1970. But it isn't. It's a disco version. But it's not the disco version by the Stylistics. It's like someone has taken the Andy Williams backing track and discoed it up. So I thought, right, well, how can I possibly resist this? Quick answer, obviously I can't, you know, so find that folder that I've tucked away again, and yeah, here we go. Can't Help Falling in Love with You. It says Andy Williams here, but honestly it isn't. It's much more disco than that. Let's go. With sorry, it's okay, going back to the start again. Keep your disco shoes on, we haven't finished yet. And as usual, as we started with doing the same thing twice, second time around, it's quite often the best. Let's go. And ending with the good old cha-cha-cha finish, always a winner. Getting back my non-existent screen. Ah, right, Pam, you arrived. Have you been here for ages? Or did you just arrive? Right, okay. That, I thought that was a really weird arrangement. It wasn't Andy Williams, it was all discoed up. And some of the, given that it's all synthesizer bright and everything, I thought, Pet Shop Boys. Did the Pet Shop Boys do a cover of Can't Help Falling in Love with You? No, they didn't. It's just some weird arrangement that is there on the internet to surprise karaoke singers who say, "Can I do Can't Help Falling in Love with You, mate?" down at the pub, and the DJ says, "Yep, absolutely, I'll play it," and this comes up and they go, "Right, okay, what was that?" They were probably hoping for Elvis, but they got disco instead. Oh, right, okay, Pam's been there, saw it all, right, okay. Just sitting there quietly. This is the great thing about this. People can actually lurk away in the background, and I don't know whether they're there, and they're not counted by Facebook unless you actually pipe over and make a comment. So, yeah, you never know who's here. There may be all kinds of people lurking away in the background going, "Good grief, what is he doing?" Anyway, lovely to see you, Pam. Glad you could make it. I'm going to pack it up now. And I'm starving hungry, as I usually am at the end of these sessions. I don't eat before them in case in case I feel like blowing chunks down the instrument. To be perfectly honest. Really didn't say that. Not a good thing to say. So I'm going to go and sort myself out some food. Thank you to everybody who's been here tonight. Love it. There will certainly be another one of these because I don't think this lockdown is anywhere near over yet. In fact, it may be about to intensify. We shall see. Hugh's here, but I'm going away because I want some food and I want a cup of tea. So I'm going to pack it in now. And again, thank you for being here all the way through. Lots of people, and I'll see you all at the next one. Hopefully, take lots of care. Look after yourselves. These are very peculiar times. But yes, look after yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, Terry. Good to see you, mate. I'll be here in 2 weeks. See you then. Go and give Kelvin a good kicking for me, will you? I'm sure he's got some excuse like family business. Cheers, Jason. I hope you enjoyed it. I owe you an email anyway. I sent you one through yesterday about the film. Or the other day. Night, Pam. Well, not night for me. It's tea time for me. I'm probably going to be going till about 2 o'clock in the morning. Right, take care, everybody. Lots of love to you and Wendy, Hugh. And that's it. I'm gone. Good night. Take care.